That's right, folks. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight, we're pulling out Watching You Episode 3, Kid Kontrol. Kid Kontrol with 2Ks. It's like KK. It's like extra special K. Isn't that right, Dragon?
Double K in the morning, folks.
Woo! All right. So how you guys doing? How are you, Dragon? How are you?
I hope the folks watching this are good, but myself, I'm okay. I'm all pumped to be talking about watching. I was really excited for this episode, and I think that was rewarded well.
Yeah, this one was actually pretty hyped up from us or hyped up to us, I should say, because we got a lot of people saying like, "Oh, next episode is when it really gets good. Next episode is really when it kicks into high gear." And I got to admit, Dragon, I definitely think that's the case. I think this is, by all means, the best episode so far out of the three that we've gotten.
Well, yeah, hey, this is really good, and of course, we had some issues with the second episode. And of course, folks, let's kind of a little reminder here. The big thing to keep in mind is that apparently, Watching You, our first season of Watching You, is technically all melded together a extended pilot episode. So they're all meant to be watched just like simultaneously. And we're kind of breaking it down as presented currently, episode by episode. And so again, it's always like there was an act break in the first episode, and episode 2 is all kind of like it's kind of basically all Taylor scenes, which for us, the winning combination in this episode gives us that we hadn't really had until the beginning of the pilot episode. And of course, the big gimmick of the pilot is these two contrasting personalities, kind of our odd couple, kind of our Oscar Felix dynamic. Is Jessica and Taylor, and of course we do get a little reunion here, but we importantly have kind of a good balance of those two personalities. So I think we definitely we're kind of back into the cell of the original series, the original of the pilot. That's again that whole like what the heck gets these two characters together? We get kind of some extended pipe for that here. So the episode shows a lot of great.
I swear to God, Dragon, this episode is just pipe full of much like episode 2, it's also chock full of, kind of mystical, like Jim Carrey isms. You know what I mean? Like Jim Carrey style comedic concepts like, ooh, is this going to be the plot device that sets everything in motion? It's almost like they're dangling a lot of high concepts in front of our face and we don't know exactly which one they're going to go for quite yet.
Exactly, because we've been the main comparison I've been using has been kind of like a liar or a Bruce Almighty. Like you don't know more accurately liar. It's like you don't know the rules exactly, but you get the premise of kid blows out the candles, makes a wish that his father can't lie, and bada boom. Like, is it God? Is it magic? Is it like an old woman with a rose at the door? We don't know. And of course, there's also the thing I kind of had the epiphany last episode that, oh my God, it's 100 Deeds with Eddie McDowell, quite possibly. We'll see if it goes that route, entirely possible. And of course, we got a few some house to keep attend to some house here at the top here. A few little shout outs, little plugs here. It's an important business to take care of. So, folks, if you haven't been checking out Just Giggle It, I don't know what's wrong with you. Just Giggle It is a channel that knows comedy. They know what they're doing. They're very nice over there, folks. They know how to treat their fans right. I mean, folks, we recap and talk about the fine sketches and parodies and of course web series like Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World, which I highly recommend to all of you out there, which is great if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of Joker, Harley Quinn. I think you're going to be very happy with this show. It just kind of gets better and better as it goes on, especially episode 5, which out of all of those episodes right now, I'd recommend most highly because we get that episode, we get the views on that episode up, folks. I mean, the views are going up, so amazing. I'm not saying it's all us, folks. I'm just saying that episode, because it's good, it's getting the views it necessitates, folks. We get those views up to a million views. I know it sounds like a very Jerry's Kids number here, folks, but go with me. It's a very telethon number, but if we get up to 1 million, we're going to get more episodes. I mean, we've seen pages of scripts for episodes 6 and 7, which again, just like a little page tease that we've been given from the fine folks at Just Giggle. Sounds amazing. I really want to see those episodes. I don't know if they're in the can. I don't know if there's like half in the can. I don't know if it's just the script. Even if it's just the script, I mean, I want to see these realized. Darn it. I think all of you are going to want to see them realized. So, folks, you watch episode 5, watch the whole thing, especially episode 5. Folks, I'm going to give you a little insight here, a little extra motivation here. I don't know how big you are into our series here. I'll say this. Tiki and I, I'm getting ahead of myself. My point is, Tiki and I, let's just say, a little cheese or a little Twinkie on the string here for you fine folks out there. Okay, we're working on a little tribute to Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World. A little special kind of tribute in our own way. A little kind of fan tribute to Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World that I think hopefully they're going to like, but I think especially folks of some of our fans of some of our other stuff are really going to enjoy it. Let's just say, folks, if you want to see that, you should absolutely watch Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World. That's all I'm going to say. If anyone's interested, stay tuned in July. Big hint. You'll see.
All right, link in the description. Thank you, Dragon.
Yes.
Okay, and I guess the other bit of housekeeping, Dragon, is that the good folks at Just Giggle had actually sent us the script to Watching You Episode 2 when we did Watching You Episode 2 to kind of compare and contrast, our views on the episode and, kind of do some research into it. And Dragon, as you were saying, like, that's also a way to really treat the fans nicely. And I feel like that's the thing with Just Giggle It, just covering their stuff. That's outside of them having just great content, I got to admit the fan interaction and them always being there to answer our questions and everything, that's definitely the thing that's kept us around.
And folks, let me make it clear, we're just big fans here. Anyone can do what we're doing right now. Just spread the word. Just tell your neighbors. Just tell them, I got to watch this great web series, watch this great video, watch this hilarious parody video about.
Honestly, if someone were to do a video essay on Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World, that could actually be of great benefit because I do not have the editing skills to pull something like that off.
Yes, I mean, folks, again, that'd be another excellent thing. Folks, by all means, outclass us, but I mean, just keep the ball rolling on all this. Just that's what you really need to do. And actually, I did read through the script, and the script had some really interesting. Again, folks, you should always, if you can, I'm not saying like seek it out extensively. I speak from this as kind of an expert on the Deadpool script, the original one that was written. I held on to that script for years and just memorized it the first time I watched it. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to toot my own horn there. I'm just saying I know some of the script pages. And I tell you, there were some alterations in the script for episode 2 that, of course, were changed, interestingly, in episode 2. And a few really interesting reveals that I'll kind of tease when we get to certain characters, let's say maybe in our promo.
Okay.
So a little bit of that's sprinkled throughout more so in kind of speculative stuff going forward. We had some interesting changes and kind of line alterations, which speaks to kind of the great talented people that work on Watching You. And of course, imagine there's going to be some improvisation. There's going to be, let's change that a little bit of the kind of Joshua Thomas kind of sitting there, again, man of many hats, director, editor,
another
writer.
Joshua Thomas special.
Grand slam, Tiki.
Sorry.
And it's funny though. I had a funny revelation. Of course, if I'm wrong on this, by all means, let me know. Fine folks, Just Giggle. But I realize we've been going, as per tradition, we usually go through and we say, who wrote, directed, and edited the episodes. And I realized, if this was intended as a pilot, then technically all the episodes would instantly be Joshua Thomas doing all. So I kind of realized we're not going to do that for Watching You unless I'm told otherwise, because otherwise it's pretty safe to assume this one, as with the pilot, was all Joshua Thomas, because the whole thing is an extended. Okay.
All right, sorry about that.
Season 3, Tiki. Talking about next season of JGI.
Yeah, that's right, folks. If you want to participate in next season of the Just Giggle It grab bag, all you have to do is basically just write a comment at the bottom of this or any other Just Giggle It grab bag video, or other places that Dragon can tell you about later.
Yeah.
And essentially just request something that we haven't done yet. Request a video, request something in the Just Giggle It archives, specifically sketches. And we'll see what we can do. And basically, the more sketches we get, the longer the season 3 will be, and since season 3 is fan driven, I feel like if we can get a good roster of stuff going, that would be a lot of fun.
We've got 2 so far, folks. I mean, if you guys you keep it pouring in, maybe we could have an extended season. I mean, look, we're not going to shoot it down if it's like the remainder of the catalog. It just Giggle if we get that overwhelming. It'll be like the longest season ever. But I mean, you don't know. It's, whatever you folks. You control season 3, what we talk about. We will shout you out. We'll give you all the credit in the world. Like, we're doing this. We've been given this gift from the comedy gods, thanks to this person. By all means, we'll be as accommodating as you can possibly say. We'll shout, yeah, we won't build a monument, but we'll build like a little commemorative statue in our hearts. We'll give that to you. So anyway.
All right. So I guess it's time to get to the actual episode then?
Yes.
Okay, so Jessica is at the lunchroom with her Lunchables, as always. Gets into a really awkward conversation with Evan. What are you doing?
So we finally got a name on the guy at the front desk, who is apparently Hal's assistant as well, named Eben. And also, a little thing with Jessica, I think is important in this episode. Is that I love visually we're evoking Tiki. I think you hit it right on the head with Jessica or episodes before. When Jessica, she has this. There's this charm. She kind of fits into our little kind of Farmiga mold. We love these kind of adorable, cutesy characters. But by the same token, there is something. There's a bit of a. There's definitely kind of a social awkwardness, kind of a social kind of affect about her, where she's kind of it's not all like an endorsement, like, oh, she should be a static character, she should remain as she remains. There's always like, maybe there's something that this Taylor character could kind of teach her down the line. Perhaps there's maybe like she needs to come out of her shell a little. I like visually we're having these cues of. We're not condemning her lifestyle, because we love this in a lot of our characters, like a Star-Lord, a very kind of nostalgic kind of man-child to an extent. We love this in a lot of our characters.
And let's face it, Dragon, you and I, to various degrees, are nostalgic man-children in our own right.
And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But of course, as we see with Jessica, there's a learning curve there. There's she can go a little overboard at times, and it's less the fandom, folks. It's more so the social interaction of it all. So. What I like is, she has like the Lunchable and the Capri Sun, which as a meal is it's evoking nostalgia and youth with Jessica. And again, the youth aspect of her, which we have in this episode, like thematically, we do see that she is quite youthful, and we show her like kind of shorter in comparison to other people. She's kind of like she's played off as this innocent youth, and again, Taylor as our seedy adulthood. So again, this pairing is making more and more sense as it kind of goes on, just even in appearance with these guys.
Sure.
Yeah, so again, Evan from the front desk, he kind of interrupts her little Lunchable fest here, and Jessica, she's all aflutter.
Oh my god.
And we see Probilski, Kelsey Probilski, my god, I mean, she's the MVP. So far, she's the MVP. I mean, she's been... Nothing against Johnny Boy, but Kelsey, she's knocking out of the ballpark. She's playing endearing and socially challenged with all of these great little bits here with that laugh and like these food bits where like she's kind of playing with the Lunchables and like she's like missing all like the little like she knows how to sell this character, and I think that's important.
So at the end of the day, with this opening scene, we see her just kind of like laugh a little too hard at Evans, like very, very casual, like, oh, just trying to get through the day. Mondays, huh? And, that strikes her fancy just a bit too much.
And she does this kind of scary laugh into right into the watching you credits, But I mean, yeah, again, I think it's just she's walking that perfect line of, again, like it's kind of that Farmiga endearingness with again kind of that socially, again, like there's something not quite right about it. Like we shouldn't be celebrating this too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so she's getting this little conversation with Evan here. Evan's like she's asking Evan, "Oh, did you hear about the new position? The new supervisor, the new position that's opened up that she's been she hopes to be considered for, but Hal probably will not consider it for."
That was a brutal scene when that happened.
By the way, we did confirm that. Fun fact here, folks. We did confirm that her name is not, in fact, after Sarah Jessica Parker. It's just a happy coincidence. It is.
It was just kind of like more the Peter Parker kind of thing.
Which we actually see realized in this episode, which is great. Right. So, let's see. So again, I love this. We have some great background comedy going on here, where we see Zoe is in the background, which of course for the reveal that we have coming up, I think that's an intentional little director's choice there. We're like, hey, what if we had kind of someone out of frame in the background to kind of be exactly what she's talking about in this scene, maybe for a strategic story point. Who knows?
Sure.
But, she figures that. I'm sorry, take us through some of this.
Yeah, she figures that Zoe's boobs are more qualified than her.
Yep, and that they'll get the job. So, Evan seems, and folks, it's going to sound crazy, and we'll get here, but I swear to God, it's going to sound like I'm giving him too much credit here, but I do think we have some thematicism with the cleavage. I know it sounds crazy.
Oh man.
We'll get there. All right. I think the cleavage. I think all the boob jokes and the cleavage might actually be going somewhere.
Well, I think they have more class and more thematic consistency to them than oh God, help me out here, Dragon. What was the joke that was driving us crazy last episode?
It was the condom joke.
The condom jokes. That's right. Oh my God, those were a little too much, guys. Anyways.
Yes. Evan seems to be in Jessica's corner. She's he says, "Oh yeah, you're nice, and you probably give me time off." And she's, "Oh yes." She's all nervous and laughing, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd give you time off." And she's going gaga over this praise. Like I'm talking like Camilla from the Muppets. She's going gaga. Okay, our bad Camilla impressions aside. So she's nervously going gaga over all this praise, and she's oh yeah, you should go for it too. Implying like, hey, if I'm going for it, you should go for it too. Because being Hal's assistant sucks, as we learned from poor Evan. And then we have my favorite Perbilski delivery here is in this scene here where he says, "Oh yeah, I think he thinks I'm gay," and then she has this great. I love how she says this. That's preposterous.
And I love how that comes back too.
I know. I really just love that. She so desperately wants him not to be gay that she's like, that's preposterous, and she's defending. It's like she's selling it as I'm defending your honor. But she of course is like she's like all of her hopes or dreams are pinned on this guy. Like, no, that's preposterous. It's just I don't know. She sells it so earnestly and so hilariously. So I love the delivery. Love the exclamation, and I love after the exclamation. This is a tease to the character here, where we have that exclamation followed by this retreat back into her cell. You can hear it in her voice of like she's just popped out of her shell, and it's like, oh yeah, of course you're not getting it. It's like retreating back into the turtle shell that is her character.
All
right, let's see. So, of course, we have great body language and acting on her too. I gotta point this out. I love that she does a little finger tracing thing where as she kind of sheepishly again retreats back into her shell, she's like moving her finger around on the table like she's tracing something. And he says, I give you time off. Again, she's starting to get a little confident. She's slowly getting out of the shell again. Like I give you I'd give you time off too. Like, oh, you don't have to do that, Okay. So let's see. So then Evan, oh boy, Tiki takes through this.
Oh, Evan asked her to the movies just instantly, and her reaction is just like, she lights up like a pinball machine, Dragon.
Yes! And then, of course, again, there's like that shell effect, Tiki. It's like the retreat here where after all, like, yes! She says, I like movies, cinematic adventures. And
Dragon, that cinematic adventures thing was probably my favorite line in the episode.
So, here's the funny thing. So, again, I think Jessica, she needs kind of the Violet Parr approach. Like, this isn't the movie date from the end of The Incredibles. Like, that's the way That's the way Jessica should be approaching. It's like Violet at the end of The Incredibles.
God, that's a perfect analogy.
And again, I think what she's just kind of doing here, in the most part, I love this choice. Again, is I think the analogy I'm going to go with for the most part, unless I see otherwise, is again she's kind of playing it like nerdy Farmiga. You know, it's kind of what she's playing it as.
Oh my God.
It's kind of like Weird Science's version of Vera Farmiga. You know, it's kind of what she's playing. She's trying to build the perfect man in the computer, and that perfect man actually just happens to look like Nestor Carbonell. Apparently, just happens to look like Alex Romero. Anyway, back on points.
So we're big Bates Motel fans, so you'll have to bear with us with our little Alex Romero and Norma Bates, Vera Farmiga references.
They made the cutesy character, and that just fits into our Farmiga mold. So they're going to have to deal with that.
All right.
Anyway, so Evan, he's confessing something, Tiki.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sees. Let's see. Sorry.
Confessing that he's always.
Yeah, he's always wanted to ask her out, but he just thought that she'd say no. Then she's just like, I could never say no to you. Boop.
Boop gag, like Deadpool does this sort of gag all the time in the comics. Even in the new movie, they finally worked in a boop. I think it's kind of funny when they. So also it's an Archer all the time too. I don't know if they got this from Archer or not, because boop is like a big. I don't know where boop. You know where boop comes from?
I have no idea.
That's the thing, because I know it's a thing, but I don't know where it's from.
Maybe The Simpsons, I want to say.
Really? It's been that long? Boop's been around for that long?
I kind of want to say The Simpsons, Dragon. I want to say Simpsons did it.
Of course, that long, folks, means the 90s, possibly, but...
Well, late 80s.
All right. Well, again, I don't know if it's from the very beginning, but okay, fine. So again, I like this, with this boop. I love that it's kind of course... It feels like something's off about this scene. I like, okay, she's acting a little. Again, now she's starting to act like Violet from The Incredibles. Now she's something's a little off here. She's definitely she's out of her shell now, and she's a little gregarious, a little more socially gregarious here. And he takes her hand, like, it sounds like a little off here. And I like kind of the ultimate reveal. All of this makes sense. All this tracks with the reveal.
Oh yeah.
And of course, she has this adorable, like, no, I mean, yes. Listen, like, no, I don't mean no for everything, but it's, you know what I mean. It says Friday, can't wait. And then as he moves in for a kiss here, again, off. Okay, sounds a little off here. He's moving in for a kiss, and then of course, the minute he says, "Hey Jessica," you know it's a dream. She's it's a daydream. So again, all these little directorial choices, Tiki. Here, like I love the out of focus in the background tracks with, okay, it's a dream. Like she's thinking of Zoe, there she is, but she's not important right now. Therefore, kind of rack and focus. Well, again, it's not a rack focus, but you know what I mean. The point is, we're doing that, and of course, like, hey, that's why things are kind of going things are turned up Millhouse for Jessica, and things are going fantastically. So, of course, it's a dream, and not just a dream, it's a daydream, which is the worst time to have a dream, because Evan actually walks in, and again, it seems like we're kind of going all full circle. It's like the scene is unfolding just as it did in the dream.
God.
Brian Wiley enjoyed that reference, but let's
is she in the dream, or did she wake up from reality?
Who knows? So she's actually, what is she actually doing in this scene?
Well, she's actually
what does Evan walk into?
Just her kind of like sleeping and talking to herself.
Well, she's making out with her lunch, very passionate.
Oh yes, right.
Let me weigh in on that.
Oh, Evan, you're so salty.
Oh God. So here's the thing. So the old daydream gag, where you're daydreaming, then you're like, especially if you're kissing like the girl or guy of your dreams in mid daydream. That's kind of a cheap joke. However, I think it's with purpose, fitting into your little thing, Tiki, where it's so you don't fall in love with her. It's a reminder that, okay, there's something, she does need to learn something here, because again, if she's like, this isn't healthy necessarily. We're kind of making fun of that old cliche joke, like, when you kiss the thing, like, no, that looks, in real life, that's going to look really strange and really odd. Like, there's an issue here.
I think Helga Pataki would really relate to this girl.
Oh my god, I think you're right. Tiki, are you? I'm sorry, there's like a little noise thing. I think it might be handling something. Or,
What?
are you crinkling paper or something?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, I absolutely think you're right. I think Helga would relate to this girl very much. So now you bring it up. I think it's a great point. All right. Let's see.
So Evan does seem like he's genuinely concerned, and he, he says he's seen kind of out of it. Better get a better night's sleep. And then Jessica's just like, sleep, refreshing, like Gatorade. Yes, yes.
Blue ice. Like, she likes blue ice. And so Evan is scared off a little, and he leaves, and she says, "Bro,
take it easy, bro."
Then enter Zoe.
Bro, really? Now he's gonna see you as his frat brother.
Or frat sister. So basically be a brother-sister dynamics, and he was always trying to look for the positive side here, the very kind of cynical positive side where, like, well, maybe maybe the positive outlook. Maybe he has a positive outlook on incest or he's gay. And of course, he's not gay. It's
That's preposterous.
So, Zoe saying, you're not really good at the words talky thing. And of course, you mean speaking? Yeah. So to break down Zoe here for a second, I think I'm falling more and more into agreeing with this, where I think Zoe is her friendship, her dynamic with Jessica is mainly pity fueled, as in she's friendly, she's like a coworker, she's friendly on a coworker level, but only to boost her own confidence. That's the reason she's friends with this girl, because she basically, if she ever wants like a confidence booster, or if she's ever feeling down, she goes to kind of the office sloth, kind of the office, like kind of the person gets kicked around the office. They kind of like, hey, I'll be nice to this person to bolster my own confidence. It's like kind of given. It's like given to the homeless to make yourself feel better, something like that.
Oh God, it is totally like that, right?
It's that reference for a little later on, but exactly. It basically kind of. I think Zoe has this friendship just to remind herself of her own desirability. I think she just wants to be with someone who's completely like the opposite of herself, and that's the only reason she's like, yeah, we're friends, right? We can have some girl talk, and of course, it's she's kind of putting her down from time to time.
Sure.
Also, she has an agenda. What's that agenda this episode, Tiki?
Well, basically, she needs to. She only has. She wants to go after the promotion, and God, I'm sorry, Dragon. My notes are kind of vague here.
Right, well, to be fair, this is kind of a vague concept, which I'm hoping to get explained to us here. She's asking a favor. She wants her to do her caseload, whatever that means. So here's the thing. So the caseload, the Kid Kontrol has a whole concept here. I know it's early, and I'll give it a benefit of the doubt here, but still, Kid Kontrol, no idea what they do.
None. Nada.
Here's what I think. My only theory, I guess, my guess, because we know it's about how to discipline your kids. That's the gist. That's the gag we heard advertised on the radio. So I'm thinking, I don't know if it's like a consultancy of like parents if they're overwhelmed. Like, it basically like Dr. Lipschitz from the Rugrats. I don't know if it's that or not. If it's like kind of a conglomerate version of a Dr. Lipschitz of he's it's like a consultancy place of how to discipline your kids or how to handle unruly children, or if they make parenting books. Or if it's like, honestly, this is an out there theory. Is the only thing I can really think of what Kid Kontrol actually does is based on what we've seen, only based on what we've seen. We have all these posters that they made. I think they just might make like demotivational kid posters. I think that's kind of what they do.
Oh God!
I'm gonna tell you, I think that might be like a demotivation. I don't know if that's the right term for it.
Like the opposite of like those hang in there posters with the kitty cat.
Yeah, exactly. They're all negative. Like they're oxymorons. It's the gag. It's like their whole like ironic like how to love your children in a way of like, hey, here's how to like spank and kind of verbally abuse your children. That's kind of it's either they make the posters, they make books, or they consult again. Hence a caseload. I don't know. I'd love some clarification on this. Assuming it's not in the show, I don't know. So that's the main. I'm still scratching my head what the heck Kid Kontrol is. Of course, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, but I mean, with the mentioned caseloads, then it becomes important. That's my biggest gripe.
Yeah, I hear you, Dragon. I'm glad that it wasn't just my notes being vague. I was just like, wait, I forget exactly what she asks of Jessica in this moment. It's something to do with the promotion.
But well, yeah, we get to the promotion momentarily, but it's like she's asking again this caseload thing. So anyway, speaking of the caseload, so honestly, I have a theory where they got this whole thing from. I'm really delighted to get to it. But so she needs so Zoe needs to smooth things over with Hal. And basically, Hal's invited her to dinner tonight, and she can't miss work, and so therefore she has a caseload. Now, I don't. I'm gonna wager this to you. I will wager you all of King Midas' silver on this.
Oh man, that's a high wager, Dragon.
They had to get this from Monsters Inc.
You think?
Here's my evidence. All right, now I can be completely wrong about this, folks. I can imagine the silver, not the King. I wouldn't wager King Midas' gold and wager in the silver because who cares about the silver? I think this is a reference to Monsters Inc. The whole big plot point of Monsters Inc. Where Mike and Celia go on a date, but Mike has paperwork to do, therefore Sully stays behind.
Oh God!
Tell me that doesn't sound similar. I know these guys. Of course, we had Monsters Drink the sketch, and of course, our guys are big Disney aficionados with the Disney princess. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Monsters Inc. reference. If it is, major points because I love them pulling from Monsters Inc. I mean, Baby Driver did. Why can't this movie? Why can't this series?
For sure.
Anyway, so that's my theory of where they're kind of pulling kind of our main kind of inciting incident plot line with Jessica. So, all right. So then here we go. Now Zoe's kind of clipping her wings here, kind of like sitting her down with the realities of life, where she's saying, face it, I'm the only one who has a shot at the promotion, at the new position that's filled up. And you don't have anything to do tonight. So again, this is really harsh. And folks, I'm not trying to stereotype here, but let's be honest. I think the universal truth is that women can be scary in the workplace setting. All right, I'm not going to go as far as to say it's only women who have this interaction. I'm saying, women can be scary in the workplace setting. They can be catty to each other, or just in general, they can have like scary. Like, they're so nice and pleasant. Like again, Zoe has that demeanor, like, oh look, I'm nice and pleasant, kind of befriending Jessica. But in reality, she's saying really mean things to her. And right here, it's just like no facades. Like she goes from all happy and smiles to like, hey, you don't have a shot at this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scary.
Then she makes a crack at the Pikachu cards.
Yeah, I think it's more just like ignorance than her just trying to like clip her wings even further. But it shows you like I think that's why like her and Hal are kind of made for each other because they don't care.
But I love how this is a breaking point for Jessica. For the love of God, it's Pokemon, and I play Magic.
Sorry, this love. She doesn't even play Pokemon. By the way, a little subtle thing I call in a rewatch. I like that we have a callback to the dream here with the whole like, you don't have anything to do tonight. Again, thinking of the whole Evan affair. And while this is happening, Zoe again she's playing around with the lunch, like she's holding like some of the meat from the Lunchable. Well, I'm not going to read any Freudian things here, but the point is she's holding the representation of what her dream was all about, like her having eaten the Lunchables while talking to Evan about having like going on a date, which again she's going on a date and all that stuff. So I think her like she's taking a bite out of her Lunchable. It's kind of like an even the apple sort of thing. It's like, hey, I'm taking your happiness away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she's Zoe's a shoo-in for the job, and just remember. She's all hugged. Again, this is the scary part. Like, she's all like, she tears her down, like, oh, yes, hugsies. Like,
oh, God.
That's the thing. I'm loving the actress.
It's scary because it's like, it is real workplace bullshit that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, depending on where you are and who you work with. You know what I mean?
Again, folks, look, I'm not going to, folks, I'm not trying to typecast here. I'm just saying I can speak from experience. Like, when I was a kid, my mother, she would always gripe to my father about arguments in the workplace, about all these work politics with other women of the office. So I'm just saying it. I'm not trying to say it's all women. I'm just saying this from personal experience. All right.
Oh.
Women can be scary and have a lot of interpersonal scary stuff going on at the office. So, all right. Of course, important plot point here. Jessica is owed one by Zoe. So hey, you owe me one. That's going to come back.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so sorry, I think I jumped ahead. So she's as basically she gives her like this speech about how to deal with men as she's eating the Lunchable. So again, the symbol of her dream and her love life is specifically the Lunchable thing I was talking about earlier. It's all in this scene following the whole. Girl, you just gotta spread your legs and say go.
So would you read into that by her eating Jessica's Lunchable, Jessica doesn't have a shot at anything?
And it's the fact that Zoe again like taking throughout the scene, you're gonna see Zoe and Hal taking things from her lunch. And again, like it's people like infringing on her happiness and taking her dream away from her, like kind of having kind of this interaction with Evan, and just kind of like having things to herself. It's like she can't live her own life. That's kind of what I'm hitting at.
Right, right, okay.
Anyway, speaking of Hal, we get the whole Parker,
Parker.
A brief homage to J. Jonah Jameson.
Parker, have you ever done any acting, Parker?
We also have this fun line. I don't know if it goes again. It's kind of a volume thing. Unless you have like headphones in, I don't think you're really gonna be able to hear this. So you're there, you turn it up real loud. One of the two. It's he says to this guy outside, he looks at a picture. Is that your wife? I don't believe it. Is that your wife? I don't believe it.
Very J. Jonah Jameson-esque, I will say.
It is Jameson-esque. I gotta tell you, that line just in itself sounds like that's a Joshua Thomas grand slam right there. Joshua Thomas grand slam, to quote. All right. So Tiki, continue. So again, asking about the actor.
Yes, he's asking about but what about you and your freaky little freakazoid sci-fi friends?
Now, Tiki, of course, freakazoid being mentioned. I'd love to think direct reference because they say cyber. They say your game's in cyberspace in cyberspace. I don't think she didn't say cyber chase. I mean, he didn't say cyber chase. It'd be amazing. Points. Love it if it's a direct freakazoid reference. Anyway, she's asking, hey, don't you do role playing and stuff like that? And she's, well, I play WoW, and of course, now, folks, I'm not a gamer. I could be completely wrong about this. I believe it's World of Warcraft.
That is correct.
Yay! All right. Mm-hmm. So, here we go, folks. Here's the real smart and funny premise. I really love this premise, and the first time I watched, it's like, oh my god, this is my favorite kind of plot gag of the whole show so far. I love this premise of Hal needs Jessica to fill in for this shoot of a sexual harassment video because the old one's from the 40s and it actually encourages sexual harassment. I love that idea.
Oh my god!
I was so
right.
It's gonna sound so silly. They don't need our praise, but I mean, I'm so proud of Joshua Thomas for that line.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of kind of that Family Guy line, like, "Oh, I gotta be back at 6:30. We're ethnically cleansing the Small World ride." Just like companies just like going above and beyond to be like, okay, we got to be on top of the politics here.
Well, now you mentioned Family Guy, I'm reminded of the whole like the I think this is what I was thinking in the back of my mind with the I think this might be why I love the 40s gags so much, because in Family Guy they had this I Am Peter, Hear Me Roar episode where it's basically Peter learning about sexual harassment. Back in the early days, folks, and Family Guy showed promise when it was good. Back when the world was rosy and it was a land of milk and honey, folks. That was the time of Family Guy we're talking about. Point.
Yes, Dragon. Yes. And that was the only positive thing going on at the time.
Seriously, back when things were awesome with Family Guy, folks, it did exist. I swear to you. Anyway, there was this old kind of 40s sexual harassment video, like kind of a how-to video. It was sexual harassment in the workplace, where it was like, yeah, so you give the woman a firm open, basically the victory thing in the office, like give the bent over woman a firm, open-handed palm to the backside, something like that. Mm-hmm. The point is, I guess I was thinking of that was around like, yeah, Joshua, I'm proud of my boy on that one. Proud of your boy. Anyway, it's just a weird kind of inside Disney joke way of saying we're very, very pleased. It's kind of hey, remember that deleted song from Aladdin? Anyway,
Clay Aiken sang it on the DVD.
Remember that Howard Ashman the song he wrote for his mother? It's a little factoid for the Uber Disney fans out there. Anyway, so okay, seriously, getting back on point. We're going all over the place on this one.
Well, you know what we're doing, Dragon? We're being Jessicas.
Yes. Well, at least we're not eating Lunchables.
Yeah.
I'd just be stuck in the 90s.
Oh boy.
So she says, "Oh, I don't know." And she's not sure about. I thought you never said no. So then she basically, I love that visually Jessica's between two users. She's between Zoe and she's between Hal. And by the way, I don't know why. If for some reason, have I been saying Howard instead of Hal for some of this?
No, you've been saying Hal.
I'm going to say Howard instead because I'm thinking of Harley Quinn and Joker versus the Real World, which is a show everyone should watch right now. Anyway, good. So Hal, we're between these two, and I love this framing. Later on, this framing leads to one of my favorite kind of moments in the episode, short of that great kind of writing about the 40s, sexual harassment thing. She says she relenches, okay, and she says, Hal says gravy. So she says, okay, so we hired an actor, and but we need an actual employee, and of course I'm going to be in it too. And I played Macbeth in high school.
Oh God!
I tell you, I'm feeling it. It's magic.
It's true magic. It's true magic.
Right? Oh my goodness, how mistaken I have been. It is true. It is true magic. So Jessica, of course, Zoe gives kind of like an eye roll, like, oh, this guy. So Jessica needs to leave. She brings up she needs to leave checking on her father, which we did set up, by the way. And again, all simultaneously would I think would flow better, but because it feels almost like a different day. But then again, that's because when you break it up, it just kind of feels that way. Again, folks, all one day.
We set this up, and it looks like it's going to be kind of a big plot point come episode 4, but we'll get into that when we get into the speculation.
Yeah, major plot point, believe you me, folks. So her father's an observation for the diabetes, which of course we kind of set up a little bit in the in the pilot section of the episode. I says, okay, fine, just change me back on time. And Tiki, oh my God, so this line cracked me up so much, and I saw that this was one of those brilliant. This to me, I thought was a lot better than the whole. The other, the whole like I want to be married to Spider-Man, all that stuff, I felt was a little mean-spirited. And again, that's the point. So we're not griping about it. I'm just saying, I think this to me was so cleverly. Yeah, I see his point here when he compared her to the Garth from Wayne's World meets Screech.
Right.
From Wayne's World and Screech had a baby. Like, yeah, that's her. I see the Garth from Wayne's World. Yeah,
unfortunately, as much as we love her.
I think just the world wants to buy her a Coke, Tiki, but just that's kind of why she's playing. Like, it's like a character who you want to buy a Coke, but you also want to say, okay, Jessica, you want to sit down and have a little conversation with her. Okay, you gotta get you on track, Jessica.
Mm.
All right, so, here's the scene. Okay, so basically before she leaves, we have this beautiful shot of her uncomfortably wedged in between a very lovey-dovey Hal and Zoe, and this is where my thematicism with the cleavage comes into play here.
Oh yeah, you're spot on.
So this scene and like the whole her boobs will give her the job, and I saw some of the marking, some of the interviews for this. Some of the interviews had like the actress who plays Zoe, she's framed at the chest, and it's like part of a gag. So I think they're definitely. I swear to God, they have to be saying something with that cleavage thing here. The fact that again, the cleavage is a symbol of like everything that Jessica's not. It's kind of the sexuality, the easiness of like if you have cleavage, that means you're a very open person, and open in the literal and figurative sense. And I think that's, at the very least, I think that's what they're saying about her. That again, we see Jessica, she's all buttoned up and like no cleavage, all it's like mostly clavicle and cleavage. And folks, not that we're looking. I'm just saying that the whole, it's like we draw attention to it this episode. So I think it's intentional. I don't know. So I think, of course, it really occurred to me when you see her, like she's like really in two shots of like the cleavage is like thrust right in her face, and I was like, okay, that has to be
right. I
don't know if it's just the actress or if it's just like, I mean, we have the gag about the cleavage too, saying he says, hey, by the way, show some cleavage. I think it was the main thing that put me on the scent of all this. He says, hey, show some cleavage. What are you, a 10-year-old boy? He says, is that in the script? And he says, oh yes, sexual harassment. Yes, just kidding.
But seriously, go get dressed.
So again, I don't think I'm far off of that cleavage bit in there. So
Oh man, that's some deep cleavage symbolism there, Dragon. You should be proud.
I know. I think it might be one of the biggest reaches I've made with some of this. I really do. I might be certifiable with that, but I don't know. I give him credit.
Right.
These are clever folks at Just Giggle, folks. All right, so she's going home to change. Okay, you home change. You lunch intercourse.
Mhm.
All right, and of course they take the Lunchable snacks as they add insult to injury. I think they take the desserts too. I think they have a little candy bar you give the meal to. It's just like that's adding insult to injury.
I used to live for those like mini bite-sized crunch bars, Dragon.
I always had jealousy for the Lunchables, but I knew I never wanted one. I was like, I just love how it's all compact and ready there for you. It's like the ultimate symbol of nostalgia. Like, I remember all those Lunchable commercials, and I love that marketing, but I don't want the food.
I still remember to this day, like I'll pick up Lunchables pizzas to hopefully recapture the childhood nostalgia I had eating Lunchables pizzas for the first time.
Such an ingenious idea. What if we made like a pre-made lunch cool again?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor shows up at the tail end of the episode. Woo!
Yes, so he's harassing our friendly hobo from earlier.
God.
Look, folks. I'm never so taking on.
Yeah, he's being really, he's just really calling it out. He's just like, let's see.
Well, let me get my mini soapbox.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, folks, it's not a soapbox in the sense you're thinking. I'm talking like a little dial soapbox, like about this tall, a little soapbox here. So, folks, I'm almost sympathetic to Taylor because it's a very relatable encounter. Where you have a lot of times you will have guys where again I think Taylor's coming from a place of relatability, and I think this is interesting with the character. What they might be getting at here is that you'll see homeless people all the time, and sometimes you'll have like you're very obviously homeless, obviously a person in need, and then other times you will have someone who like it's unclear. He got on a corner, and you'll hear these horror stories on the news, like, oh my god, he's the guy who like drives a Benz, but he goes on the corner and he's asking for change.
Right.
There is a point where you don't know, and there's a negative stereotype. There's all this stuff, and of course there's a point where there's just like sometimes you'll be scammed by some of these guys, and again Taylor is raising a valid point initially, but then he gets mean spirited about it. It's like, okay, any sympathy and any likability, okay. Flush. He basically turns like again. He's making a point. Because folks in this situation, we should say, nope, don't have anything on there. It's like, sorry, no, can't help you.
You expect me to expect that you're not a drunk?
And again, even to that point, it's like he might be trying to he shouldn't be making this point, but it's like a Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm.
No, but it is very much just like, okay, Taylor, maybe pump the brakes on this interaction a little bit. Just a little bit.
Like for a moment, it could go the Curb Your Enthusiasm route of, okay, they have like an actual intellectual conversation about homelessness. But then Taylor basically it devolves to "come at me, bro." With basically we have Taylor's "come at me, bro" mentality, which is the absolute wrong thing to do in this situation. That's where things go south. So he's like he's getting to a shoving match with a homeless guy, and he's just sitting with a hobo, and he basically pulls a Marty McFly here. Where he says, "Hey, what's that?" And he uppercuts him, and he runs away. And he's just like, "Oh my god, Taylor is such a pussy. He's all bark no bite. And he's not getting to it. He's running away, and he foolishly, he drops his wallet. And now the hobo justly has his wallet. And he calls him an ale and everything. $4, right? Now I'm jumping ahead with that story, but. Let's see. Oh yes, big foreshadow here. Yes. So again, as he kind of runs away like a wussy, and he keeps shot and he runs away like a real man. No, I'm kidding. He says, "You're gonna die." Of course, big foreshadow followed by bigger foreshadow. Tiki, what's the best kind of foreshadow? It's intersection.
God.
Oh my God, Antigua, this is the moment I've been waiting for since the pilot, because the pilot
Symbolism. Here we go, Dragon. It's literally the crossroads of the series coming together, Dragon, and I love it. And you know what I like about it so much is that at first we thought it was going to be just a big kind of cataclysmic car wreck where Taylor loses his life and everything, but nope. Like it's literally not even a fender bender.
Yep, and again, they might just be building it up even more, or they're not going to go full Monty after all.
Well, if anything else, they're subverting expectations.
Well, of course, yeah, absolutely, and they go on a completely different route.
Mm-hmm.
So he's almost hit by Jessica. So again, apparently they did have a little interaction, but it was a fleeting interaction. And of course, a meathead like Taylor's not going to get, and she's going to be scared out of her gourd. She's not going to remember him in the morning. And we're all groggy and getting up. So again, I like that we're kind of laying some believable pipe here. So now again, we have like one of these moments, Steve. One of these moments that we've seen a little Family Guy reference here. Of course, back on the good days. The subtitle of the movie. And so he says, get some headgear. It's just a ridiculous insult. So it's padded and it's
no, okay. You know what? I'm going to share some personal stuff here, Dragon. When I was in middle school, I was in special ed classes, and there was nothing wrong with being in special ed classes, especially because some of my lifelong friends were also in said special ed classes. But I remember endearing insults where, essentially it was stuff like this, where it's like, get headgear, you freak. And there were people that would follow kids around, who were especially challenged, and they would be called aides. And so with this line is essentially, what do I want from you? I want you to get someone to follow you around and make sure you're safe and to wear headgear.
Well, let me ask you this, T. I'm very unenlightened here because my understanding was like headgear is mean like mirrors like hung around the head, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, never mind. I read that just right then. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't think, it just felt like a weird insult to me, but okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Okay, so here's the thing. I thought he was going more obscure and weird with it because I thought get some basically get a rear view camera or something mounted. Like
no. Headgear to me kind of just represents like like a padded helmet or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you've seen Garden State, like Natalie Portman has to wear a helmet in Garden State because she has epilepsy, like something like that.
Wait, regardless, I just thought it was like mirrors or like a surveillance thing of some kind. Like you wear like a rear view camera or something around your head. That's what I kind of it's like. It's kind of bizarre, and I think that.
I think you're overthinking it, Dragon.
And anyway, the point is, like, it sounded like he went for a stretch to say to have someone watching you.
Watching you.
Either way, I just feel like it still feels like it's definitely a name drop. But you know what? I don't know. They have my money already. They have they have my viewership already.
Right.
So again, basically, if it's I'll say this. If it's magic, so again, I don't know if they're going the whole liar candle route or what. Not literally candles, but the whole unexplained thing. If we do have an explanation, if it's magic, this is what does it. This is the Rose moment from Beauty and the Beast, right here. Not honestly, much as it could be the curse, but what I'm saying is this is the link. This is the link up right here where it's okay. They met each other and they had like the whole watching you. That watching you moment this is the moment that's going to bond them together. This is why these two people specifically are in each other's lives. This is kind of the big curse moment. This is kind of the big. Again, I'm trying to look at that movie analogy. God, I think it's called. There's a movie called. I think it's called. It's a boy girl thing where the lightning strikes and they switch bodies. I think that's the one. It's kind of like a moment like that. I've seen Jimmy Neutron parody this too, where they did the whole the lightning strike and they switched brains. There's always a brain switch episode of everything.
Anyway. Almost every animated show's done it at some point, Dragon. You're not really stretching with that. Gravity Falls. Yeah, I digress.
No, I'm saying like there's Flash. There's
oh yeah, sure. It's all over the place.
Okay, let's see. So getting back on pose. The point is that's kind of our big intersect moment. So then we meet the director. So this is the spelling on it's like an Eris. It's basically I think the X is silent. It's we meet one of the directors. We have our director here. It sounds like Derek, but it's like it's Eris. I think is Eris.
Oh, I took it down as Dirk.
I know that's what it sounds like, right? But that's the thing.
So it's not Dirk.
Well, I mean, it sounds like Dirk, but it's spelled.
I thought it was Dirk D. Dirk.
I know that's what it sounds like, but it's. Swear to you, it's spelled like Xersis.
I don't know. Maybe that's just weird translation in the story mode in the story or something. I don't know.
I know it's good. I know it's kind of weird, but anyway. The point is, our
who knows?
Anyway, our director here, he's given a fun performance. I think I'm a little iffy on the lisp, I'll be honest, but I love how.
Well, I feel like I said, Dragon. Every episode so far has this kind of like Morgan Freeman is God-esque character, like this eccentric, like almost otherworldly, but not quite. Kind of like, ooh, I'm gonna set the plot in motion.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like they're playing with that a little bit. Like I said, like for the folks that just Giggle, I'd love to know, just so I keep one way or another with this theory that I'm having. I'd love to know if I'm hot or cold with this whole, Jim Carrey liar, liar, yes man, Bruce Almighty type stuff.
I gotta clip your wins. Yes man didn't have any magic or like the regular. No, it's not important. Sorry.
Yeah, well, still, it had the premise, it had the whole, but Yes Man is kind of the idea of, the outlandish premise that he has to stick to, but it's not supernatural, and we don't know if this is supernatural or not yet.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's still okay by that logic. Maybe Morgan Freeman will show up in this one.
Oh, yeah, just Morgan Freeman, yes, Joshua Thomas and I just go way back.
To be fair, they did get Mel Gibson. To be fair. Anyway, so our director, he's giving a fun performance. Yeah, I'm a little, would be on the list, but you know what it reminds me of, though? Just the energy of the performance, and even with the list, but it kind of reminds me of Martin Short's character, I believe it's Franz, from The Father of the Bride. Do you remember that at all?
Oh, of course I do. Yeah.
Doesn't he remind you a little of that guy?
I could see that.
Yeah. So, it's a good choice, by the way, man. Yeah, it's if that's what they're going for, it's a kind of an inspired choice. Yeah, really good deep cuts there. Father of the Bride. Yeah. George Newbern, the other Superman. Okay, so Taylor. So, God, Taylor hums his own theme music as he enters, da, 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 which may or may not be a Space Jam reference. Sorry to get overexcited there. I'm just saying, I was remembering the whole Space Jam parody. Oh my God, it's like the talent has arrived. Kind of like when Bill Murray just, arrives at the third act of Space Jam.
Also, kind of vaguely reminds me of Emperor's New Groove with Crunk singing his own theme music.
That's a good point too. And I love Crunk and Emperor's New Groove. Anyway, so let's see. Oh yes. So he he meets the director, and he's oh yes, you're great. So the director's very complimentary. He gives you can kind of passively complimentary, but complimentary all the same. They have the hand kiss gag where he extends his hand all kind of fancily, and then Taylor just, he kisses his hand, he slaps him. So let's see. So Taylor is coming in expecting the whole shebang. He's expecting makeup. He's expecting craft service, the whole 9 yards. And in reality, it's
makeup
Lizzie.
Is literally just like a little makeup kit and a little hand mirror.
Exactly. In reality,
Dragon, I have his entire coffee order if you're ready for it.
Let me get you there. I'll get you there. So, Angie, I believe it's Angie. Comes up, and she's played by little Lizzie Poncio. Oh, God. Some Poncio talent here, coming from the same kind of Poncio tree of kind of nepotism runs strong, but in a good way.
Oh, God.
It's like an HHM sort of thing. Like, that's nepotism in the best of ways. This is nepotism in the best web series of ways. It's like, yes, little. I hope she isn't offended by that, because I'll stop if she really. I won't go nuts to little Lizzie Poncio. I thought it was kind of cute, like little Lindsay. Lizzie
Oh
Ponce.
God.
She's so
Oh
talented.
God.
Look at her.
Well, if we're going for kind of like the comic book, like Jessica Parker type naming, I guess it makes sense. Anyways.
Liz Allen, Lizzie Ponce. Okay, anyway, so point is, so she stops by. Anyway, he's demanding coffee. He says, "I'm sorry, no coffee. I'm sorry. Yes, Tiki. What does he ask for specifically with his coffee?"
Yeah, specifically, Dragon, he asked for a coffee decaf, half and half, stirred with 2% milk and extra sugar. I'm sorry, sir. No. I love how polite they are about it. You know what I mean? It's like, no, sir, sorry, we don't have any coffee.
But I love the fact that she's putting this on because she does not respect this guy, and they don't have craft service. They probably don't have craft service, but they do have coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And she shoots him down for coffee, and of course, the director comes by here, and Indy asks for coffee immediately, and she says, "Yes, sir," right away. And of course, this is about the director that kills me here. She says, "Have you seen her? She's so great." You know, it's like I was watching. He extends his hand, and the coffee just comes out of frame like 2 seconds later.
Right.
Oh, it's great. Mr. Hal, are you ready, Mr. Hal? And of course, his Hal says, again, this is kind of another. This is kind of another vague act break issue, but it's not as I don't think it's as bad as what we had in the pilot. And again, folks, I want to make it clear. So again, it's supposed to be taken as cohesive whole. I don't mean to keep bringing that up. I just want to bring this up. I just want to make sure I'm just not taking unnecessary shots at this here. Where again, if you're presenting this in a serialized manner, the ending could be tweaked a little bit here, but it's not. I think it's not as noticeable as it was in the first pilot episode that we got. Because he says like, "Oh, we're going to shoot this." And okay, that's kind of the episode adds logical conclusion, but we're still like kind of on like a little bit of a cliffhanger with Hal there of like, why would we end before like we kind of like there's no post credit gag of like, oh, there's Hal, because again, there wouldn't be a post credit gag because it's extended into the next part.
Sure.
Which makes all the sense in the world. So it's a non-issue by definition. Okay, so Tiki, promo and spec time.
Oh boy. Okay, so for the promo, basically we get a lot of sort of Jessica's dad being in peril in the hospital type stuff, which Dragon, I don't know about you, but to me that stuff called to mind the Aunt May stuff with Peter Parker.
I could definitely see that. I really could. And of course, again, we've said with that little Spider-Man gag, we have set up, and of course, the last name Parker. There is definitely a Spider-Man parable. So I think you're right on the money. I really do.
And of course, the big question I think with episode 4 is, and obviously the good folks at Just Giggle It are watching and laughing at us like, oh, they have no idea what's coming. They're so off the money. But I predict that we kind of do a foreshadowing of the whole Uncle Ben situation, but with Jessica and her father this next episode.
Not bad.
And that's about all I got, honestly.
So also in the promo, we had two big reveals. So of course, so Jessica is missing. Again, dealing with the thing with her father. That's why she's missing. But again, possibly missing out on the commercial she was sworn to do.
Right.
Taylor is botching the video, by the way. He's just a very bad actor. No, not Johnny Walter, but Taylor. And biggie. Here's the biggie. This is one that, having read the script, episode 2, I was like, oh my god, I was kind of tipped off to this, and it was great. The father. So her father. She finds out her father's not doing so good, and there's a man. We have the return of I believe it's Bill Gundry. And Bill Gundry played the man at the door. That was what he was credited as. But we reveal here he's a doctor.
Dun dun dun.
And Tiki, here's the fun fact.
All right.
In the script for episode 2, he was listed as doctor.
Ooh, interesting.
So they wanted to delay that. I'm just getting like a little nitty-gritty of the filmmaking here. That implies that they could have gone that way, and they know what it's going to be. But what are we going to do? Sell him as a doctor? We're not even going to call him a doctor. So we'll just kind of build up the mystery with this guy. He's man at the door. We're not going to list him as a doctor, otherwise people would see it coming. They might be able to put the pieces together. A big reveal, doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have one bit of spec. Just one.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So I grand scheme, I think either after the loss, or again, hopefully, I'm hoping not for a loss because again, it's diabetes and he's in a hospital bed, so you know what's going to happen. But at the very least, I think it's going to be more of a crisis than a loss because I feel it's kind of a stretch within the episode. Like, just kill them off all in one episode. But I don't know.
Oh, sure. That's always a risk, definitely.
It was like an Aunt May or delayed Uncle Ben thing. Like, we're kind of spitballing here. The point is, her father's going to be in crisis, and the series premise, the cell line of the series, like two people who meet each other on the worst days of their lives. And I think the next episode will get us to kind of basically the worst day of their lives, where Taylor's botching the audition, and the worst day of her life is finding out her father is in a great deal of peril. And she's probably going to get yelled at for. I think she's going to miss the video, and I think that's going to be, hey, you think they're going to play off of each other in the sexual harassment video? But Taylor's
exactly. That's a good kind of subversion of expectations right there.
Like, she's going to miss it and get in hot water with everybody. It's like, hey, Jessica, like, she's all wrapped up in her father. She won't be able to turn in the work, and she'll be missed. She'll be in hot water with everybody, and Taylor will probably get fired off the job just being an idiot. Mm-hmm. And that they won't meet until the car accident, or however they meet, again, assuming it's not just a car accident. Again, I'm thinking she's going to be driving home all flustered. Taylor's going to break down. He's going to get off and be walking in the street. Then, boom, link up. I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay, final thoughts, Tiki. What do you got?
Yeah, final thoughts. All interesting stuff. As you guys can see, we're still very much scratching our heads, and I'm sure it's a fun time for the creators of the show and the cast behind the show to listen to these and be like, oh man, they're right about certain things, they're wrong about certain things. It's a journey, folks. It's a journey, and episode 4 is going to mark the midway point in that journey, so I'm very excited about that. But in the meantime, folks, I hope you're having a good time with these Just Giggle It grab bags. This episode, to me, was definitely the best of the ones that we've gotten so far. It really felt kind of razor-focused, and if we get more like these, if the rest of the series kind of holds up to this quality, or at least at least kind of the shades of this quality, I think we're in for a fun ride, Dragon.
Yeah, so, for me, solid episode. It has kind of both halves that we were kind of lacking with the previous episode. Again, through no fault of its own, just kind of the way it's presented. It's a real good setup. A lot of great setup here. We got some good laughs. Kelsey Prabilski, of course, she's a gem in this show. She's really, again, kind of an MVP for us so far. She's kind of one of the big sells, and again, I'm keeping my interest definitely. So again, so far, this episode was a vast improvement, and again, I don't know, after talking through, I think so far it would probably be it's probably the top contender so far still. Mm-hmm. Again, I think grand scheme, you'll notice that each episode, again, I can't recall all of them off the top of my head, but I know the next one's called Daddy. And that implies that the next one's called Daddy. I think episode 5 is called Kid Control. Oh, sorry, not Kid Control, the sexual harassment. So again, if we're doing like an extended narrative, if they wanted to,
this episode is Kid Control.
No, you're right. You're right. This is Kid Control. Yeah. But then next episode 4 is Daddy. Episode 5, I think, is sexual harassment. Now, what that implies is, if they wanted to, again, all of our specs still might be on the money. It's just that they might be stretching it out to then. Again, hence the whole kind of pilot. Like the sexual harassment thing might be him getting fired off the video, but I don't know.
Interesting.
So again, folks, so far, again, I mean, the next episode still sound really amazing. Episode 4 sounds like it's going to be stunning, but so far it's probably I would agree with Teague, it's probably the favorite so far. So it's real solid stuff. Of course, folks, final plugs here. Of course, just season 3 is in your hands. List down in the comments what you want to see, shout outs, or anything. Honestly, anything you want us to say, or kind of, if you want to shout out, just put it in the comments. We'll shout you out because we love you. And if we love you, Just Giggle It loves you. And if Just Giggle It loves you, why wouldn't you watch Joker and Harley Quinn versus the Real World, episode 5?
You're gosh darn right, Dragon. You're gosh darn right.
Yeah! Right.
Okay, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching this fine evening. And check back until next time when we get into the grab bag once again and reach for more.
Keep on watching you.
That's preposterous.